Like I have always been kind of confounded why, of all of David Lynch's movies, Mulholland Drive is the one that overtakes everyone.
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't know why that is. It became a kind of a consensus thing, for a little while. Personally, I think it should be Eraserhead. I think that's the most Lynchian movie that there is, period. Bong, that's it. But,
yes.
There's just, you're not going to get any more David Lynch than that. But I guess a lot of people haven't gone back to take a look at Eraserhead, although if you're a David Lynch fan, boy, you should do that immediately. I don't know exactly why Mulholland Drive. I think because, it's one of his movies that has a success. In fact, it might be one of the few movies, other than Blue Velvet, that has a serious succession of incredible scenes. I mean, that there are so many good scenes in Mulholland Drive. That whole Howard Hawks thing of like a really good movie has 3 great scenes and no bad ones. This movie has like 10 great scenes, and there might be a bad one in there, but I can't name what it is right now. And even if you think a scene is bad in there, I could probably make a really great argument for it being great. What's better than that scene with the cowboy coming in? What's better than the scene with Naomi Watts doing that scene with Chad Everett out of the soap opera and knocking it out of the park? There are so many great scenes. What's better than the scene of Naomi Watts trying to make love to Elena Herring and sort of being rebuffed, and then we find out it's a masturbation session and she's having trouble with. So there's just tons of great stuff in that movie. So now I'm convincing myself that maybe it deserves to be in the top. So
yeah, my favorite Lynch movie is not what I think is his best movie, but because my favorite is Wild at Heart, but I wouldn't say that that's his best movie. It's just the one I respond to most. I think structurally and in every way, I think his best overall movie is Blue Velvet. So my curiosity has always been, why Mulholland Drive over Blue Velvet or anything else he's done.
I agree.
And it's the most recent on the list. That and In the Mood for Love are the 2 most recent entries.
I have a suggestion as to an answer to this. And though Blue Velvet does veer into the sort of dreamlike language that David Lynch is famous for, it does go into it quite a bit, but it always feels like it's totally grounded in a sort of off-brand reality. It never, whereas Mulholland Drive and Eraserhead totally feel like complete dream movies. They are about the dream, and in fact, you can say the same thing probably for Inland Empire and maybe Lost Highway, at least part of it. But I think that's the reason. I think that's
well, and that's a good argument for Blue Velvet being a more pure expression of Lynch's art, because Lynch has always been a Midwesterner is right, but he's always been an okie dokie industrial town, wood, lumber, all that kind of shit. He's always been the small town and the surrealism that lurks underneath the surface of that small town environment. In Mulholland Drive, he's setting his movie in dreamland already. It's Hollywood. It's the glamour of Hollywood. So I mean, I feel like Blue Velvet is a more authentic expression of who Lynch is, or what makes him so particular, such a specific kind of personality.
I like Blue Velvet because it feels like a more complete, like the most complete movie, and kind of a compromise between the dream-like David Lynch and the David Lynch that's more grounded in a reality. But I like the humor in it. I like, you know, Dennis Hopper, and of course there was just something about Blue Velvet that just hit you like a ton of bricks when it came out. It was just well, I knew about David Lynch, but it was completely revelatory.
It was a big cultural event. Yeah,
it was, and I still find it like. I was watching Blue Velvet recently, and I was just going to watch a little bit of it, and I just had to stick with it all, which is something I can't say necessarily about you know, the other two movies that I'm championing. But yeah, he's
and it's also weird because there's TV movie in Mulholland Drive.
Yes,
there's a lot of his TV series that's in that movie. That was shot for TV.
Yeah,
which isn't a criticism. It just makes it an odder choice for one of the greatest movies of all time. You know,
I think that's one of the things that makes it interesting too, because I think that's one of the reasons it's being championed is that he was able to so successfully take something that had turned into a disaster in his hands and remake it into something that was that means a lot to a lot of people. So,
but look, would you like? You of all people, Dean, if any other director had made a movie that half or whatever quotient of that movie consists of something that was made for TV, and they're nominated at the Oscars, if it was anybody but Lynch, would you throw a fit?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, you know, if it was, nah, I don't think so. I mean, you know, if the situations are the same, you know, they made it for TV, they couldn't release it, they took it, they rejiggered it. Yes, I'd give anybody else the benefit of the doubt. Even Bernard Kowalski or whoever, you know, somebody. I'm trying to think of one of those TV movie directors. Tom Greaves. Yeah, I'd give him the benefit of that.
Adam, what do you think? Would Dean give him the benefit of the doubt?
Would he give him the benefit of the doubt? I think so.
I would.
I think so.
If they nominated that Incredible Hulk movie that you're so crazy about, you'd be like, well, this is bullshit. I like the movie, but it's not like a movie. It was TV.
Yeah, I would have to take umbrage with that, because as much as well done as it is for what it is, I would have to say this is not
That's
something
what I'm
that
saying.
makes
At least half of Mulholland Drive is that Incredible Hulk movie. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. As moving as it is, it doesn't belong here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, anyway, I bet Mulholland Drive will be hitting the Sight and Sound list one of these days.